World War II, transportation. Cars. Motorcycles. And finally, planes. The first motorcycle was in 1885, Daimler Reitwagen, and the first car was a Benz patent motor car. These vehicles were updated and changed and provided jobs and transfers and opinions. Originally, the U.S. used horses in wars, but in 1916, that changed. The U.S. decided that they needed a strong car. They asked several companies to make a car that they could use. In the end, only two companies made successful cars: Willys Overland and Ford. Willys Overland is actually now called Jeep because the soldiers gave it the nickname of Jeep instead of a Willys Overland truck. In total, Willys and Ford made 637,770 cars. Willys and Ford had a contract for 16,000 cars for $748.74 per car, but they destroyed this deal by nearly 37 times more. Hitler promised his people that everyone on a low pay wage could afford a Volkswagen after the war, but no one could. The Daimler Reitwagen, produced by Gottlieb Daimler and William Maybach in 1885, which was the first motorcycle then to be rebuilt and shifted into different builds and eventually leading to the wonderful bikes of World War II. Harley-Davidson produced 88,000 motorcycles for the war effort. This was great because after the war, young men who missed the roaring beasts bought one for themselves. They would go everywhere, and some would be considered outlaws, which made a negative imprint on the public. This was very upsetting for some riders because now they just want to ride their bikes in peace, but some drivers are angry at them because they think they will do something wrong. Another popular motorcycle was a British bike called the BSA M20, which was seen everywhere on the battlefield. The BSA M20 was so sought after because they were liked for their easy repairs, customization, and build. It wasn't the fastest bike or the bike with the most ground clearance, but it was extremely reliable. There were approximately 126,000 BSA M20s made. For World War II, the USA had only a few hundred planes that were used in the case of war. But by the end of World War II, they had produced over 80,000 planes for the war, which was the biggest air force for the time. And more than 100 types of planes were being used and made during this time. They even assigned a letter to each type of plane, as in P for pursuit, for an example. They would name the plane give them a name such as P-51 or etc. And the most feared pilot was named Erich Alfred Hartmann, who was a German fighter pilot. All of these vehicles were and still are on the road in some sort of ways. These vehicles have changed into more luxurious, eco-friendly, and faster cars, motorcycles, and planes. The phrase necessity mothers invention is very true, especially during wartime. For instance, right now, many countries are making drones to test out, and during World War II, the USA needed a lot of cars and transport for the war. These vehicles are now seen everywhere and are loved so much, but most people don't really think about the beginning of these beautiful machines, which can be upsetting to some people.